Did you know Spotify has a popularity score for every artist? It gives each artist a score from 0 to 100, which to me is ironic because Spotify manufactures popularity with its algorithmic and editorial playlists. From my perspective, Spotify has been chronically underrating some of the most talented artists and producers, which is why I decided to start this series. This is Slept On by Spotify. Welcome to episode 2 of Slept On by Spotify, the show where I pay underrated musical artists to let me interview them and watch them work a little bit. If you haven't checked out the first episode with Arthur and Medic, I implore you to do so. It gives a little more context, but the basic gist is this. As I alluded to, Spotify has a popularity score for every artist. If your value is below 50 and your monthly listeners are fewer than 100,000, you qualify to come on the show. I got a lot of amazing feedback on the first episode. People were really stoked, and I decided to reach out to Spotify rep to see whether or not they wanted to rectify some of their misdeeds. And I actually just got a voicemail back from them, so let's listen into that right now.
Listen, Nick, we really appreciate what you're trying to do with this whole Slept On thing, but unfortunately, we're going to have to pass, because we've got artists like Drake breathing down our necks, and I mean that literally. He's in my home. He seems intoxicated.
I'm drinking.
Anyway, he said if even a single song of his gets less than 100 million plays, he's going to leave an upper decker in my home. And frankly, I'm not keen on finding out what that means.
The dentist ain't scary.
I know, buddy. You keep saying that.
Well, that's disappointing, but it's kind of, I guess, what I expected from Spotify. We're just going to move right along. I just wanted to clarify before I introduce the artist for this episode that each episode is broken into an A and B section. The A section is the interview, the B section is the technical production session. Hopefully that's not too confusing for everyone. I just wanted to compartmentalize it. If you're a supporter of underground music, please consider subscribing. I am planning on doing 30 episodes this year if I can, about 3 a month. And I can guarantee every artist I'm planning to feature is going to be very much worthy of your support. For this episode, I had the pleasure of connecting with the incomparable Low Poly. Honestly, I have nothing but amazing things to say about Jack Low Poly. He is not only an incredible producer, he's also just the most wholesome individual. If you followed Jack on Twitter in 2019, he actually wished like all of his mutuals a Merry Christmas or Happy Holiday, and I'm really very much here for that kind of positivity. While Jack is a force of good in the underground music community, he's a force of nature when it comes to making music. A few identifying features of a Low Poly banger are powerful grinding basses that can carry entire sections unto themselves, booming drums that somehow manage to make your subwoofer nervous, and I wouldn't really consider his music to be minimal by any means, but he usually leaves enough space for every bit of ear candy to have its moment in the spotlight. He recently came out with a double single, Dreamstate and Mine, on Mousetrap. While there's telltale signs that this is still the Low Poly we know and love, this release borrows more from UK garage and features a darker sound palette with breakbeats. The interview I did with Jack was filmed on the 19th of January, which was before the tragic loss of Sophie. We mentioned her name in the interview, which is why I'm bringing this up, but both Jack and I hold her in the highest regard, both as an artistic visionary and just human being. With all of that said, here is the interview with Jack.
Yeah.
So we were slated a year ago in January to go to G. Jones, and I got the flu. I got the flu like the weekend of the 20th or something, and
Yeah.
I was out for like 2 weeks. I felt like shit. No, it wasn't 2 weeks. It was like a week. If it was 2 weeks,
Okay.
it's COVID.
Yeah, I was gonna say in January.
I mean, yeah, exactly. No, I didn't have any antibodies or anything, so it really was just the flu. I tested positive for a strain of the flu, so it was also
Okay.
pretty sure of that. But you went to that show, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It was, oh man, he's a huge inspiration for me. He's like really on the cutting edge of presenting a world, which is definitely a different scope of project than having a music project. I think when you see someone like like him or like Porter Robinson is obviously the real like high profile example of doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just really impressed by everything he does. He's got such a cohesive vision for how he wants to present his music, how he wants to sound. You can get as granular as you want with it. It's like a fractal where you could zoom in on any individual part of what he's doing, and the level of detail and commitment and thought put into any individual aspect is just mind-blowing. So yeah, I don't want to sit here and gush, but yeah, he's a huge inspiration.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can tell just in listening to your music a little bit. He probably has the benefit of like teams of incredibly talented designers and stuff, and like
super true.
Yeah, it's like, unfortunately, there's like a threshold that you would need to hit in order to be like, okay, I can justify a universe unto myself.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. No reason to have tour visuals if you're not touring.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, like I've done a couple like online shows, and I'm just like, how bad should I feel about ripping visuals from YouTube? And then I'm like, well, I'm not getting paid for this online set, so who really cares?
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are like memes though, so it's like the Techno Viking. Like, does he need more credit?
No, he's
like public.
I don't know if
domain,
he's famous, but yeah, public domain. He's Creative Commons. He did it.
He's on
that level.
I really wish I could have gone to that show, man. I would have loved to have done that. And Webster Hall, I think, shut down. It was at Webster Hall, right?
Yeah. Is Webster Hall shut down now?
Or like new management totally redone. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. But not even. I don't even think it was COVID related. I think it was like beforehand.
Okay.
I might be wrong. I might be wrong.
Oh my God, dude! All my favorite venues are shut down from COVID. Like U Street Music Hall in DC's shut down. There have been some places that have opened back up. Like there's a venue I like in Orlando that opened just back up. But like, yeah, I mean, U Street in particular is a huge one. There's a place called Club 444 in Brooklyn too that actually I.O. Before he passed away, he named he named a series of EPs after it. Just like legendary venues. I mean, so, they're venues, so they do come and go, but it's just really frustrating that a lot of people have been poised for a really good year. Water Spirit is one in particular, I think, who was set just to go crazy, and a lot of people just got tied down because of the pandemic. It's frustrating to ruminate on it. I don't want to sit here and just complain, but
let's talk more low poly. So you are heavily involved with Jadu Dalla, right?
Yes.
Do you run it? Did you found it? Like, am I like
absolutely not a founder? Absolutely not a founder. The founding team are Nathaniel and Jesse. And Nathaniel's a little more front facing and Jesse's a little more behind the scenes. And usually I'm working with Nathaniel. I do social media. I sort of spearhead initiatives. The core responsibility I have is probably like running the Twitter account. But that branches off to saying, oh, we got tagged in these things on Twitter. Why don't we reach out to these brands and see if we can collaborate somehow? Or, oh, let's get some new artists. Or let's make some content in support of, this specific release that's doing really well and go back to that.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit of a handyman there, but it's a great team, and I've been with them for a little over a year now, and it's good people. It's good people. I like being there a lot.
Jadu Dalla, to me, I probably discovered Jadu Dalla personally a little late, but to me, I just like started scrolling down the SoundCloud and I was like, shit, this is all bangers right now. Like, how have I slept on it this hard?
Yeah.
It seems like Jadu Dalla in general like wanted to move their focus more away from SoundCloud, at least, or
yeah,
or like start distributing everything and make sure that you know give each track, each single its due time. How do you feel about that migration?
Fortunately, SoundCloud isn't really the best place for an artist to present themselves right now in a lot of ways. I don't think it's a dead platform. I think personally that moving forward, someone's goal who's launching a creative project should be to spread themselves as thinly as possible and see where you and what you're making resonate and then build there. So that's why we're focusing on, platforms like Twitter, where there's a huge producer community, or Spotify, where we can get straight to the fans. And that's kind of why I don't think you're wrong that SoundCloud has fallen to the wayside, but it's tough to say it's not a priority. Yeah. It's just, it feels a little bit over the hill.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to pick a year, one perfect year of SoundCloud, which year would you pick?
Oh, dude.
Only one. You only get one. Think hard.
Wow.
You want me to look up when it was founded?
No. Can I open my browser really quick and look around for a second?
Yeah. Take your time.
Off the top, I want to say like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
That first sort of wave of artist post dubstep where Selection really started to pop off, and where Cashmere Cat really came into view.
Yeah.
Lido, and really that early wave of
Tennyson.
Tennyson. And that early wave of like SoundCloud pop and rap, I think is so cool. Sophie too, obviously.
Oh my God. Yeah. When I first heard Sophie, it was the same with Skrillex, by the way, for me. When I first heard Skrillex and I first heard Sophie, I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
I'm just not. It's clearly so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she's just become an icon.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's 100%. A good year. A fine year.
Vintage. It's aged well too. I think that year sort of set the groundwork for a lot of where we are right now. And maybe I'm a little premature in calling SoundCloud over the hill, because there's a bunch of artists who are coming up on it really hard right now. But they're also supplemented by other platforms, so maybe not so much.
You actually, by the time this video comes out, will have just released or recently released a new EP. I'm blanking on the name right now. It's next week it's coming out, right?
It is coming out on Friday. Yes. Yeah. Dreamstate EP, aka sort of double A side. It's only 2 tracks, so I don't know if it counts as an EP, but it's definitely not like A side B side. It's 2 tracks. It's out on Mousetrap, which is a dream and a half. Mousetrap. What?
I know.
So crazy.
This is like your third track third and fourth, I suppose, like on Mousetrap, which is like very fucking cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Their team is really awesome. You can tell working with them, they just know what they're doing. They set the bar in terms of how to run a label and how to support artists and how to A&R and put a project together and how to help people become, sort of the best version of themselves. As cheesy as it sounds, they're really good about that. They know what they want to do with the label, and they know how to make, they know how you can come together and make something that's bigger than like the artist and bigger than the label.
Right. It is really, really freaking cool. I'm so happy for you, and like I'm a little jealous, honestly, because I think probably my first influences in electronic music, because I was listening to classic rock in like middle school, and then in high school.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like my dad was like, "Oh, you like my music when I was a kid," and that's how that happens.
Classic rock.
And then basically I just found Justice and I found Deadmau5 and was like, and obviously Daft Punk was like, had just released another album in like 2007 when I was still a high schooler. Anyway, so for Mousetrap to be like putting up the homies is kind of just like full circle, like, you know. I mean, Joel gets like a lot of hate because he's kind of an asshole. Like he's just like the way he acts sometimes is like dickish, but like I think he enjoys being the devil's advocate a lot of time. You know what I mean?
I get the sense he likes to play the heel, like in the wrestling term, where he's like, you know, there's a certain kind of bad guy you gotta have around, you know. Yeah. It's like the bad guy you like to hate. I'm gonna
put up a photo of me and my dad at the Cube V3 tour. I gave my dad a concert tickets
awesome.
to the Cube, and in February he and I were the only father-son group there. I'm pretty sure.
I was at that show.
Shut the fuck up! Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure you had the VIP seats and everything backstage.
Yeah, they put me in like the VIP section side stage, which was super cool. Super cool.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I don't know how to like say it humbly because I'm still kind of like starstruck. I don't know how to be like, oh, you know, they gave me VIP, or like, you know, is that not the move? Or anyway, it's cool team.
Don't worry about it.
Still kind of overwhelming for me.
It's well deserved. This video will be a celebration of your new release, and I can't wait to hear the full length tracks. The teasers had me very excited.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely different than what I've done so far, but it's also
continuation.
Honestly, no. I was a little nervous to put this stuff out because it's a little bit of a left turn, but it's stuff that I want to be integrating into the broader sort of sound palette of low poly going forward. It's clubby. It's like influenced by like garage and grime. It's all like 130, 135 breakbeat stuff. Really, really atmospheric. No crazy basses or sound design. Just kind of like dance music the way I like it, which is kind of more like influenced by Merlot or Niena or who else? Missing No. Missing No is a huge inspiration. Mm-hmm. Really like dark atmospheric stuff that's sort of got more of a UK sound palette to it and is more made for dance floors than a crazy sound design banger.
This will be a part of your like promotional tour, you know what I mean? When you're doing all the interviews, Celebrity Jack.
Oh man, it fucks me up. I hate that stuff.
So, have you ever done this exercise where you have seen your own Spotify popularity score?
No.
So, for reference, me as Bear Cave is a score of 12 out of 100. Arthur, I think, was 21, and Billie Eilish is 93. So. Okay. AG Cook is 51, and you can kind of get a sense from there. I think 100 Gex was like 70, 71.
Man, the 100 Gex explosion is so nuts.
It is.
I can't get over it.
It's pretty crazy. So you're going to get the number now. 20, my man.
20, let's go.
Let's go.
I love it. I love it. Keep me underrated.
Keep me underrated.
Surprise every time.
Oh man, do you have a PayPal.me? Because, you know,
yeah,
if anyone's watching, they can also donate, and you should absolutely support Low Poly here. It's making some incredible.
I would appreciate it. It's tough out here. Music. It's just PayPal.me/John A Tamburo, JOHNATAMBURRO.
Okay, slow down.
Should be a little picture of my face to confirm what's going down.
You should have gotten 110 for the Nitro and for making a little music on cam.
There it is. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Of course. I'm very ready to be a fly on your wall. I hope you enjoyed hearing Jack's perspective a little bit. You can follow him at Low Poly Sound pretty much everywhere: Twitter, Instagram. Support him on Bandcamp. You can donate directly with PayPal. I'm going to show you a preview of what he made in the 2.5-3 hours or so that we spent together. The B section of this video will have the edits of our session, but if you want to watch the full-length thing, you can head over to my Patreon. Otherwise, here's Jack's work in progress.